You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah. We chased our pleasures here, dug our treasures there, but can you still recall the time we cried? Break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side.
Hi guys, today I will be riding the Royal Enfield 99 model. It is owned by my friend Mushtaq, who lended me this bike for a ride. I had a very strong one plan to ride this bike. I didn't know when to, but I just got the bike for the ride and it's recently overhauled. So I'm maintaining a speed below 30 to not put pressure on the pistons and the cylinder. So what I felt about this bike, why I wanted to ride this bike, because to feel the difference between what I have earlier ridden. I owned a classic 350 but it got sold off. So I wanted to share my view about this bike and what I have ridden and what the Royal Enfield is producing now. So why this difference? Because of the controversies. Every day Royal Enfield comes in like this and the technicalities in the engine and everything. Everybody, the owners claims, and that's why it pulled me up to ride this bike anyhow, because everybody said riding this bike is an art because of this reverse transmission and braking assembly. So this is my first Royal Enfield rider's view on this bike. So let's check it out. The first point and the first thing which got me in was the kickstart. You cannot ride this bike until and unless you know how to kickstart, and it's not a normal kickstart you have in the classic. It's a very difficult one. If you don't know how to do it, you really need to learn it. And it's not that much difficult, but it's not that much easy. You need to get hold on the throttle correctly. You need to go on the how to go on the choke, when to switch it off, and it's very easy if you know how to do it. And the kickstart is good if you have a good kicking power, and if you don't know, then you are not in trouble, but you need basically to get on it. I found it very easy, very much less troubled than the self-start, because self-starts are vulnerable to getting burned, vulnerable to getting like malfunctioning. On exceptional cases, some run very good, but if you are on a long tour, kickstart is the best way to go on. Even in the winters, it's the best way to go on, and it's really good. I felt it very nicely, and it was very useful to the bike. And whenever you kickstart, the bike goes on the first or the second attempt surely. The second is the build quality. why the build quality I have mentioned. Most of you won't agree, but the build quality I have mentioned and build quality you are assuming are very different. The build quality of the 99 model comparatively running, the build quality is very much superior than what are nowadays Royal Enfield is producing, and most of them have issues on the build quality currently, but on this particular bike I found the build quality very well. Very well I found it according to my own observations. I found the build quality very superior comparatively front models, and the 99 bike working very well into 2017 is very good and very durable, and it proves its worth to the customer and to the rider and to whomsoever anybody doubts it. And it's better than the plastic running on the streets nowadays, and very much durable, and it has been proven its worth, but being in the continuous production since 100 years. So let's move on to the third, the thumb, the benchmark, the trademark, the meaning, the soul of the bike, the thumb of this model. This 99 model has the best thumb, and it is never been duplicated. It can never be replicated. It can never be duplicated. Even if you put a Vance and Hines exhaust on the classic, put any screaming eagle exhaust on any bike you want, you can't replicate the thumb. It can be only produced by this engine, by the engine of this bike, and on this very motorcycle. And beat the thumb makes them benchmark whenever you ride on the roads. It really makes you feel like a king, and the roadside walkers, everybody knows what is this machine going on. Everybody knows because of the thumb. It really proves that this is the bike, you should be riding on those roads. It is a different kind of feel when you really hop onto the motorcycle and go on with the thumb. It's not that loud, it's not that like silent, but it's very decent. And nowadays everybody is trying to replicate the thumb, but mostly everybody has like 80% failed to get this kind of thumb. The fourth is the metal body. The metal body work, I found the body work very nicely done, the weight distribution very nicely done, and it feels so much lighter than the current standard and this classic. It feels so much lighter than when you get on the classic and get off. It feels like you are riding a Harley Davidson 2.5 quintal bike, but when you ride this motorcycle it feels like you are really riding a Royal Enfield, and it feels lighter, just like any other 150cc bike. And you should know the Royal Enfield has done something pathetically very I found they have this pathetic bodywork on the classic and this standard. Comparatively what it's in here in this bike, I found it's very much really nicely done, a decent work. And old is just like the saying, old is gold. This is my observation, and this is my point about this, the metal body work. And there is much less use of plastic. Plastic doesn't mean it's cheap, but plastics has its own use and should be used in the bike, but there is very much less use of plastic comparatively when you get on the classic version or the new generation version of the bike. And let's get on the fifth point, the transmission and the brake assembly. The brake is on the left side, which should be on the right side, and the transmission is on the right side, which should be on the left side. And as a separate neutral lever is on the right side of the transmission box. And this part is very much difficult. If you are a new rider, new to the bike, it's very difficult to understand this transmission, upshifts and downshifts, plus the neutral lever. The clutch is very good, not heavy, very nice. No, it doesn't make your wrist ache or the hands very stiff, but the clutch is very good. But neutral lever is also good. When you have to understand shifts. First you have to upshift, then you have to downshift for the further third, fourth and fifth gear, and it is like that, but it is smooth. You need to just get on along with it. You will understand, not by this theoretically but practically. And when you get on the motorcycle, it is very much what you say, weird, but very kind of all this not nostalgic look of the bike. I liked it. It isn't bad, but it is fine. The brake lever is also good. The transmission lever is also good, no doubt about it. And it isn't. It's not a rocket science. It is simpler. Let's be honest. It's simple. For me, it was simple, and getting on first time it was simple. And the sixth point is the custom. There is so much custom space for this bike. You can do any custom you want. You can do anything on this bike you want. And there are many examples of such customs done on the bike. You can witness in the Rider Mania every year. The most of the customs that were done are on this bike, on this particular comparatively to the new generation bike. This bike has more custom space than the new, because some of the custom designers have spent a lot of time on this bike, because this bike was uh, very much in production before the classic. So a lot of spare parts like custom parts are designed on this model. So there is a lot of room for the customs. If you want to design your bike like the scrambler or the bobber or this street retro, you can do it very easily. And it's a new local thing. And this seventh is this support, mechanical support. You will find the mechanical support for this bike everywhere in the country. You will find this mechanical support. You won't be needing any like professional servicing center, but you can find, if you have a breakdown, you will definitely get your bike fixed at any part of the country, because this bike is so famous in the country. Every mechanic knows how to repair a bullet if there is any malfunctioning in the engine, in the bodywork, in the wiring, in the headlights, everything. And the spares, oh, don't talk about it, they are readily available. The eighth is the touring scene. Royal Enfield has like grandly uh, dominated the touring scene. Every time you go, you see the Royal Enfield are seen as the tourers, comparatively to the street or the like commuting bikes. They are seen as the grand tourers of the country. And it had usually before some years, foreigners on these bikes were touring the country, the cross country rides. And like this, for our young generation took the lessons from them and started this touring scene. And Royal Enfield, be it, learn this name, because this is the name that started the touring scenes in India, according to the statistics and the facts. And this Royal Enfield started such touring scenes. And Royal Enfield has this image like of a tourer. When you buy the Enfield, you need to really, you automatically start to tour on it, because it has some of that. And the eighth is handling. I found the handling nice, not that decent, but it was good. When you really pull the bike, 180 kilo bike, approximately, not sure, and it surely has a good maneuverability and handling on the high speed 80 kilometers per hour. It was good, not that good, but it's decent. And let's talk about the cons. The first I thought the maintenance. If you are not really good at maintenance, don't buy this bike, and even don't try to do it. And the parts update, there are many parts which Royal Enfield has updated, and a lot of manufacturers have stopped to manufacture the parts which are existing in this motorcycle. So what you need to do is that have some if there is any malfunction in the motorcycle, try to get the new parts in the bike, and don't try to get the old one, because the Royal Enfield has already updated this. So this is my review about the motorcycle, what I found while riding it. And if you like it, please comment and share, and if I have commented anything wrong, please feel free to share or suggest. Thank you for watching.